Welcome. Whoa. Okay, I'm on there. I looked over there, man. I'm sorry. I saw on our end, it looked like I was muted. So, but welcome to OU Insider Under the Visor, YouTube Live, powered by Riverwind Casino.
We got to hang on, Brandon. We got to wrap that one. Take two. Start again. Take two.
All right. Welcome. There you go. There
Nailed
you go.
it.
Yes, there you go. Hey, look, this is powered by Riverwind Casino. My name is Brandon Drum, Parker Thune, Spencer Forsythe. Man, it's football time in Oklahoma, and it's exciting. Obviously, Illinois State is up for Oklahoma in week one, and everybody's kind of looking forward to week two. I know that sounds kind of anti-coaches. If you really are a coach or a player, you can't really do that. But us as media, us as fans, September 6th looms large, even though August 30th does as well. But it's here, Parker. It's here. Football is here, and I'm excited to talk to everybody about that right here on this version of our YouTube Live and X Live now that we are now streaming on both. But first, before we do all that, Parker, let's thank our sponsors and then let's get after it, man. This is going to be a fun one. Going to be really fun.
Yes, folks, we have a couple more sponsors this week because that's what happens when the season rolls around. We have more ads to read. We'll spin through them quick. Riverwind Casino is our presenting sponsor, OKC's premier gaming destination for nearly 2 decades now, almost 3,000 electronic games, table games, bars and dining options, plus the best live music in the metro. Look, it's no surprise that Riverwind is always a good time. You know where it's at, right off Highway 9 and I-35. Jana King is also a proud partner of OU Athletics, as well as us, and the greatest team to ever clean, delivering spotless results and solutions from stadiums to any size business across the country. Check out which of their solutions is best for you or your business by going to janiking.com. That's JANIKING.com. And now that football season is upon us, it's a great time to put your ball knowledge to the test and win money with it. Regardless of who you believe, player-wise or team-wise, is going to have a big weekend, a big season, whatever the case may be, there's a play for you at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if you get your picks right, you could cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. And Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. They offer Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. PrizePicks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if your picks don't hit or one of your picks doesn't hit. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code OU Insider to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code OU Insider to get $50 in lineups after you play your very first $5 lineup. Run your game all season long with Prize Picks. And finally, a word from Mando. Folks, if you're not familiar with Mando's line of personal care products, they were created by a doctor who saw firsthand how often BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Mando knocks BO out. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. Now, you can choose from a variety of fresh scents as well. Bourbon leather, Clover Woods, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, and the like. All products are baking soda free and paraben free. So if you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula right now, you can find Mando in Walmart, Target, and other retailers across the country. Or for the best deals, you can just go to shopmando.com. Get started with Mando's starter pack, which is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash and deodorant wipes, as well as free shipping. And as a special offer for our listeners, we can get you 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use the code INSIDER at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide and free shipping as well. SHOPMANDO.com. Shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. All right, Brandon, we got a lot to discuss.
Hey, yeah, first and foremost, I'm sorry, I got to do this. Prayer, thoughts, everybody out in Minnesota that is affected by that shooting today. That was just had to go there, Parker. I mean, that as a parent, it breaks my heart. And seeing stuff like that, I just hate it. And so just thoughts and prayers out for everybody that had that was affected by that. So, anyways, wanted to get that out there. And
Everybody in the chat. And yes, want to reiterate prayers for all affected. Everybody in the chats going, good grief, ads for days, infomercial. Listen, folks, we just try to get them all out of the way at the front
yep,
end. So now we can talk OU football and recruiting for the next hour, perhaps hour plus. So look, we're through it. Let's talk ball. Let's talk recruiting. And the first thing we want to do is get to our very first super chat. Now, if you want to ensure that your question or comment is addressed throughout the show, send it to us in super chat form. You can attach any contribution whatsoever. Daryl Revels, a regular here on the show, sent us $5 and said, heard DeMarco was catching reps in practice. Curious if he could still go out and drop a 100 plus yard rushing performance.
yes, yes, yeah. That dude. No, I in college, yes, I don't think so in NFL, but yeah, I think he couldn't go. That dude is he's a freak. DeMarco's a freak. If you've watched him, like he gets out there and does the drills with the players a lot of times. He's a
Yeah,
freak.
I mean, and it's been what, 8 years since he laced him up? Still looks pretty dang athletic, though. A little
Hmm.
bit stiffer than he did in his playing
Of
days,
course.
but looks
I
like he
watched
could
his
still.
highlights the other day, Parker. Holy crap, I forgot how good he was.
Yeah, he was
Like I
really
didn't
freaking
forget how
good.
good he was, but like it pops on the
Hits a
like
little bit different
it
now.
hit. Oh my goodness. We haven't seen a running back like that in a bit at Oklahoma. So Joe Mixon was the last one, I think, and P Ryan. Would that be probably yeah, that'd be right, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Here's probably a good place to start because we got to, like I said, a lot of ground to cover. We got to talk about the game this weekend. We got to talk about recruiting, including the latest commitment last night. But since we last did this here live stream on a Wednesday night, we had the first depth chart of the season released. What were the key takeaways for you when that depth chart dropped? And by the way, 19 oars, that was the tally. 19 oars on the Sooners' inaugural depth chart. But what stood out to you looking over it?
So you're asking me what stood out with the depth chart? I mean, I put it out there earlier on Twitter. I think Jaron Kanik, um, first and foremost. And hey, you know what? Rodney Anderson. I just thought about Rodney Anderson just a second ago. That would be another one off the top of my head. Sorry, I digress with the running back thing. But yeah, I think Jaron Kanik being the starter. But look, we talked about that on the post practice blitz. Uh, I just, I don't know that I'm shocked. He is one of the top three or four most athletic guys on the football team, like pound for pound. So that doesn't shock me. You watch his film on offense when he was in high school, it seems to track, right? Like it reminds me of so many other guys that were just big bodied guys. You want to know, people are going to hate this, but you want to know what his high school film kind of reminds me of when you go back and you watch, um, oh my gosh, Bauer Sharp last year or before he came to Oklahoma as a quarterback. He's a big body guy that they could run the power with, kind of a Blake Bellish type guy, not quite as tall, but he's faster than Blake. He's as strong as Blake Bell was, and I think that's something that uh, gets overlooked as his strength. He's a freaking and BV talked about it. I think the other thing is the fact that Javante Barnes is starting at running back, which we heard over and over and over, and along with obviously uh, Jay not being third was shocking, but it wasn't because he missed a lot of fall camp. I talked to somebody last night, Parker, that was like, look, if dudes miss like a week or two of fall camp, there's a reason why they weren't top on the depth chart. Doesn't mean they're not going to start on Saturday, mind you. I want people to
Mm-hmm.
understand that. There was a whole week in between when that depth chart was released and these practices have taken place. So there's going to be some things that change. But yeah, I think that was it. And I don't know. I don't. I'm interested to see how much Fasusi because I've been told that like obviously I don't know that he's really gone full bore this week, and I don't think
Full thud, as Mike
full
Gundy would say.
thud. Yeah, I don't think he's gone full thud this week, and there's reasons for that obviously, but I think they're bringing him back a little slow. I think you'll see uh, quite a bit of Jake Sexton. I think you'll see Luke Backlinko out there. I'm not saying you won't see Fasusi. I don't want to go there, but I'm just saying that I'll be interested to see how much
Hmm.
you see of him just because of everything that took place prior to that. And last but not least, I think obviously Michael Boganowski at free safety, but we talked about that. Like we literally put, if you're on OU Insider VIP, this stuff you already knew. We told you like Boganowski was probably going to get a lot of the reps week one because our Mason Thomas has been dinged up with his hamstring. So I don't know that anything like just popped out at me, but those are the things that I took notice of early on when you just take a glance at the depth chart.
By the way, we did miss an early super chat from Breeze, who tosses $5 and said, "Sup, La Parker,
Love Parker.
La Parker. Would appear that
Love
my
him.
banging of the Xavier Okufulueze drum has paid off.
Yeah,
What do you think happens with wide receiver recruiting the rest of 26?" Well, Xavier Okufulueze obviously is going to be in town this weekend for
we'll
the Illinois
see.
State game. He does not have an Oklahoma offer yet.
Yet.
Will he get an Oklahoma offer? Who's to say?
What do you think
I've
the odds are? Come on.
listen, honestly, coin flip. I've heard some things that made me feel he's going to get it. I've heard some things that have made me feel Oklahoma is going to continue playing the waiting game. Now, here's the thing. He's got an official committable offer from Oklahoma State.
Yep.
And so I don't think he's going to wait around forever. If Oklahoma doesn't offer this weekend or relatively soon, I think it will
Mm-hmm.
probably be in his best interest, particularly from his standpoint, to just go ahead and lock in with Oklahoma State, which you can't fault him for. So we'll see whether Oklahoma moves or not this weekend. If they do, they got a dang good shot to land that kid. I'll say that much. I'll put it this way. There's a reason his recruitment has dragged out as long as it has.
Yeah. No, I, I talked to somebody last night on that exact conversation. You probably know who I'm talking about. And I was on the phone for a while, and his name came up, and their exact words were, "Love him. His size is ridiculous. His athleticism is off the charts. He comes from good stock, obviously. His father, freak athlete, right? Um, they like everything about him in that aspect. The problem you run into is the competition. You know what I said? Well, didn't you offer somebody else from the exact same school in 2028?" And they said, "Yeah, good point." And I said, "Well, what what's the holdup?" And again, everything that you pointed out is everything that I kind of feel is the holdup. I don't want to quote the people verbatim, but like, I will not be shocked, Parker, if he gets an offer this weekend at all. I also will not be shocked if they go, you know what? He's an Oklahoma kid. He really, really wants to be a Sooner. Let's let's see what happens if we chase after a few of these other guys, and then if that doesn't work out, really push hard there and throw a little bit of NIL at him, throw a little bit of this at him, and see if you can't get him to be a Sooner. Because I think even if he does commit to Oklahoma State, that is a committable offer. I think Oklahoma could come back in and really just take over because they're not going to not double negative keep recruiting him. So like they're going to keep recruiting him regardless of the fact. It'd be stupid not to. He's too good of a player. He is. Would you agree that he's one of the more underrated players, not just in the state of Oklahoma, but nationally? Like, just for who he is and the competition he plays against. If he was at Owasso, he would be a. I'm going to say something, and it's going to sound crazy. I think he would be a top 300 player in the nation if he was at Owasso. Is that outlandish?
Outlandish, no. I think there are some obvious mm, chinks in the armor there logically because how much different does the tape look if he's at Owasso right now? That's something you have to consider as well. But
Phrasing,
look, I
Parker, phrasing.
what?
Nothing. I thought it was kinks in the armor, but you know what? I digress. Go ahead.
I think armor has kinks. That might be
It
worse
can.
phrasing, actually, when you really
All
think
right,
about it.
fair enough. Fair
That
enough.
might be even worse phrasing. Um,
I'm
but no, I
2025
love the
in you, by the
kid.
way.
6'4", 200 pounds. Really, really smooth for being the size that he is. And he's a guy that has been on my radar for a long, long time as a potential late offer type of dude. And we've talked about him at length. Probably not the type of guy that was going to get the offer before they saw some more tape on him. But
Yeah,
like, who knows? It could just be as simple as they want to see what the first game of his senior season looks like this Friday. And if they look over the tape Saturday morning and they like what they see, they feel like there's been growth, there's been improvement from his junior year in some of the areas that they want him to improve, then hey, they might just go right ahead and pull the trigger. And to me,
yeah,
I think they should. I think they should.
I agree.
The
Yeah,
reason why, he's a high character kid. He wants to stay local. He has immense respect for the brand and the program that Oklahoma is. Emmett Jones has done a tremendous job building that relationship. And even if you regard him as more of a project, more of a shot in the dark, more of a gamble, it's a gamble you can afford to take because you have Daniel Odom locked in. Things look really good as far as Oklahoma's odds to flip Braden Allen, the 3-star Tulane commit, who is a dang good ball player as well. Dang good. And then beyond that, man, like it feels like this is going to be no more than a 3 wide receiver class for Oklahoma at this point. There was a time where it looked like they could take 4 and would get 4, but when you project ahead to what that roster and what that particular room is going to look like in 2026, I don't know that Oklahoma has need for more than 3. So if you call it Daniel Odom, Braden Allen, and roll the dice on a Xavier Okufuloeze, I think you could do a whole lot worse when it comes to taking a gamble. And it would also prevent you from getting shut out in the state of Oklahoma in the 2026 cycle. It would help. It would help.
yeah, that's very true. I always forget about that part of the whole dynamic of the
It
recruiting of
would help
26.
appease some of the fist shakers who insist on having Oklahoma talent in the class every single year. And to be fair, there hasn't been a class, I don't think ever at the University of Oklahoma that hasn't included at least one in-state signee. In the modern era, there hasn't been a class with less than 2. And so there are many reasons why the Okufuloeze take makes sense. And I think it's a direction Oklahoma can afford to go and should go. I hope they
Yeah.
do.
Um, I first off, it's kinks, not not chinks. So like I had to go there with that. And just because there's a lot of people in the thing. But you want to know what really hurt is Garrett said he goes, today is the day that Brandon actually outsmarted Parker.
It's
That
not
hurts.
kinks. It's not kinks.
Well, then you
I
need
am looking at a Wikipedia page right now about the idiom chink in one's armor.
fair enough. Well, I'm just saying, more or less, I'm talking about the Garrett stuff. I'm offended, Garrett. Offended, by the way.
Yes, one of
Um,
the very first entries in this Wikipedia page is while the phrase itself is innocuous, its use in contemporary times has caused controversy in the United States due to it including the homonym, which can be interpreted as an ethnic slur to refer to someone, so
I
on and
used
so
to
forth.
say it like you did, and I was in the military and I got in trouble for it, so I had to change. So,
You got in trouble for that?
oh, I did. Yes, yes. This was circa 2013.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
2012. I'd say 2012 is right before I got out. 2012. Yeah,
That makes a little bit more sense.
yeah. Um,
Um, Super chats are stacking up here. Cooper Graves asked, tackle leader on Saturday, rushing receptions.
oof.
We'll go
Okay.
rapid fire here.
Tackle leader. Yeah, Kip Lewis. I'll
I
go.
would say Kobe McKenzie.
Do they run? Do you think they'll run the ball that much to where Kobe is the lead? That's a good one though. Yeah, those would be my picks. One of those two. I'll go
Yeah.
Kip. You go Kobe.
Rushing,
Um, rushing. Hmm.
Javante Barnes. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, but I think they pull him early. That's the thing. What if a freshman was the lead?
Torrey Blaylock? Do you want to go there?
I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna say Troy Blaylock.
Okay.
Troy Blaylock. Troy Blaylock's gonna lead it because I think Oklahoma gets up enough that they run Torrey quite a bit.
Receptions leader,
Satania.
Jacob Jordan.
You've really like you're taking some really like I respect your picks.
Well, it's just this is always how it is week one. It's never who you expect, right? Like you remember who led Oklahoma in receptions 2 years ago in the opener against Arkansas State?
2 years ago, so that would be 2023. I'm gonna say Jaden Gibson.
Jacquez Petaway. He
That's
had
right.
9 catches in that game,
That is
all in the
true.
second half.
Right. The fourth quarter, they hit him with a bunch of pop screens, and he took them like 10, 15 yards. I do remember that. That's right.
Mongo tosses $10 and said, "Nothing to say. Talking season is over. Shout out to Lamar Barnes." Thank you, Mongo. You're a real one.
Yeah. Talking season is over except for on this live. We're going to continue to talk. I do want to say something though because next week is going to be really cool. I've got a behind enemy lines segment on YouTube and on VIP, OU Insider VIP, uh, with Josh Hinsky. Like I think that's
Mm.
going to be really really cool. We're going to go back and forth over the game on it'll hopefully we'll release it on like a Tuesday ish. Um, so it'll be early. And we also have Dusty Dvorak coming on our pregame podcast that we will be recording next week early
Mm.
as well. So it is a big week on YouTube. I hope you guys stick around, like, subscribe, all that type of stuff. Hey, by the
SBC
way,
Bates. SBC Bates tosses
uh,
$2 and said, "People forget that Kanek run 10.37 in high school." Yeah, don't forget that. Dude can
no,
move.
yeah, that's my point. He's a freak. Um, let's talk about, but before we dive any more into the season, mad respect to Todd Bates. Uh, dude is on fire on the recruiting trail. Landed T. Ron Richardson. He obviously landed Tank Carrington. I have to say, like, does he not have some of the cooler names on the team that he's landed over the last few years? Like as far like
T-Ron, Tank.
Tank. Yeah, who else has he gotten over the last few years that's
I
been
mean,
like
Stone is a pretty solid
yeah,
name.
that was the name I thought of was David Stone. Um, Grayson Halton is kind of a cool name regardless of I mean, yeah, he's got kind of the cool name list, I think, if you were going by position as well as probably the strongest position on the team that arguably safety could be up there, I think, in that aspect as well, and defensive end. But I think those will be the three positions you look at and go, yeah, those are ridiculously deep. I guess defense in general, corner is pretty deep too. Um,
That it is.
but T-Ron, people look at that, they go, 3-star Parker, 3-star. You and I look at it and we're like, Auburn, Georgia, Florida, Penn State, Maryland, Oklahoma, Syracuse, Virginia Tech all wanted him. You know what that tells me?
What does that tell you?
Dude's freaking good, and he's probably better than a 3-star.
I will simply point this out. The last time Oklahoma recruited a 3-star with a random letter at the beginning of his first name,
Car
things
Mason
turned
did.
out all right, didn't
Yeah.
they?
He turned out to be a 4-star by the end of the cycle, too.
Yes, he did. And he's currently arguably the best player on Oklahoma's entire defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I look, the way that they're doing it, and I think people need to understand that, like, don't think they're not going after the big names because they got Trent Wilson last year. I think people need to remember they got a top 100 player last year at defensive tackle. Uh, Tank Carrington was once ballyhooed, right? Who else is in this class at defensive tackle? You got
Brian
T-Ron,
Harris.
Tank, Brian
Brian
Harris,
Harris.
who, look, all three of those guys, if they're 4 stars at the end of the cycle, not shocked at all. Not shocked. And they fit what Oklahoma wants: big, long, athletic, fast, strong. Every one of those, they fit the billing of it. Just because they don't have that 4-star billing doesn't mean jack crap. I mean, Jaden Jackson was a 3-star when Oklahoma first got him, right? He ended up being in the top 120, 130 at the end of the year, 150 player in the country. And now he was a freshman All American. Trust the evaluations, is I guess what I'm getting at. Long winded. Trust the evaluations. I think the defensive staff of all staffs have proven that despite the stars, they seem to know what they're looking at. Is that fair?
It is certainly fair.
There
More
you
than
go.
fair, I would say.
Yeah. So three.
Jonathan Henley
Go ahead.
threw us $5 and said, "You guys going to be at the game on Saturday?" Of course we will.
Yes.
And how soon do y'all think we will get to see Mikey Hawkins? God bless you guys and your families. Well, thank you, Jonathan Henley.
Appreciate you.
God
Third quarter.
bless you and yours as well.
You too.
How soon do we see Michael
Third quarter.
Hawkins? I think best case scenario, he's starting the second half, right? In an ideal world, you only get one half of John Mateer. Oklahoma's been able to do that in openers in the recent past. Pretty sure Spencer Rattler only played a half against Missouri State, if I recall correctly. You expect the game to be well in hand, and Illinois State is a good FCS team, but it's still an FCS team, right? Like
Right.
this, this should be a game that Oklahoma wins running away and is able to very quickly establish control over. So I think the hope and the expectation would be you see Michael Hawkins before the fourth quarter. How's that?
I like that. I think that's probably the third quarter. I think is probably, I don't want to say your best bet, but I think the most logical bet. Maybe midway. To me, even if Oklahoma's up, let's say 5 touchdowns, right, going into the second half, I think you want one more drive with your ones because it's game one, right? And you have Michigan week 2. It honestly wouldn't shock me if they played them the whole third quarter just to get them reps. Because of, if they were playing Kent State, if they were playing Houston, if they were playing, and I'm not taking shots, I am, but I'm not meaning to. If they were playing, I don't know, Arkansas State or TCU or somebody like, and it's not a shot at TCU, that one is not a shot. I'm just saying Michigan just brings a different aura to them. They're the all-time winningest program in college football history. They won the national title in 2022, right? You have to be ready for that. So if they played them for 3 quarters and then set them, I don't think you can fault Brent Venables and the staff for doing that because you want as much in-game reps as you possibly can get going into that week 2 battle. Because that week 2 battle is so important for Brent Venables and the program. That game is massive. I don't know how much you can state how massive that game is, Parker, for the future of the program, just from an optics narrative. It's huge.
It is huge. We've talked about it. I mean, it's also just going to set the early trajectory of Oklahoma's season because, shoot, man, if they don't beat Michigan, folks are going to be antsy when Auburn comes to town. Right now, those look like 2 games on paper you should win. If Oklahoma
Yes.
drops a game to Michigan, all of a sudden it doesn't feel like anything is a sure thing the rest of the way.
Nope.
Be some uncomfortable conversations. So,
Nope.
yeah, definitely can see what you're saying. There's a case to be made there. Other side of the coin is obviously you don't want to risk anybody getting injured. So that's the last thing you want is, you try to
No, yeah, there's
overextend.
2 sides to
You're
it.
already up by 40 plus and keep the starters in there and somebody turns an ankle or rips up a knee. It's not what you want to see.
And
Jeff
yes.
Spangler threw us $5 and said, who has the first touchdown? Could be a rushing touchdown, pick six, receiving, punt block, return, fumble recovery. Got to get my prop bet in. I know my answer. Do you know yours?
Yeah, I think you told me it the other day. What you have is a post route, right, or something like that. But I won't say to who. I'll just say John Mateer runs it in. I don't know why I think that. I
A
just
John Mateer rushing touchdown, huh?
Yeah, rushing touchdown. He's either going to rush. John Mateer is going to be involved, so I would put that in there. It's either going to be a rush from John Mateer and or a pass to Dion Burks deep. Parker, I remember what yours is now. Go ahead. Yeah, yours is like in depth though. Go for it.
Every year, first drive, first game,
Hmm.
Oklahoma takes a shot every single time. Took a shot to Jalil Farouk last year. He wound up breaking his foot on that play, but they hit it. They hit it in 2023. You remember that? Dylan Gabriel went up top to Andrell Anthony.
Yep.
I don't think they hit it in 2022. And going back any further is going to really, really test my memory. But it's an annual occurrence that Oklahoma tries to take a shot on the first possession of the season. I think that before they even get the chance to take the shot, there's an intermediate pass play design that turns into a long touchdown. Here's what I think is
Mhm.
going to happen. This is going to cover 64 yards. It's a 64-yard touchdown. John Mateer is going to hit Dion Burks running across her. Dion Burks is going to angle that thing to the sideline, turn on the
Yep.
afterburners, and outrun everybody to the end zone. And folks, that's how it happens. That's your first touchdown of Oklahoma's 2025 season. 64 yards from John Mateer to Dion Burks. You heard it here first.
64. Yeah, yeah. What was it? Me and you and Colton were sitting there having a conversation when you said that at the players presser the other day. Isn't that right? The scrums. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Um, Man, that's a good one. I'll say that who gets the first turnover? I think that to me that's a better question. Gentry Williams gets an interception.
I'll go RJ. Robert
Okay.
Spears Jennings.
Well, he's probably not playing.
Oh, that's
So
right.
you would lose that bet.
Dang. Okay.
You gonna go
The guy that'll
Boganowski?
be playing his position, Michael
Yeah.
Boganowski. There you
There
go.
you go. I knew that's
There
what
you
you were
go. He'll
doing.
be there to
Okay.
make the
Yeah.
play, even
Yeah.
if RSJ isn't.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Those are the as a matter of fact, those are my top two, Gentry or Bogue, the boogeyman. By the way, man, they have some cool shirts. Y'all should check out Boogeyman's shirts. They're pretty cool. His dad was kind enough to give me one or give my family a bunch of shirts. They were really cool. Um, I don't know where they sell them at, but they're very well done. I will say that. Um, as far as just this week goes, is this the deepest slate of college football that you can remember? Like starting at 11 a.m., you have Ohio State hosting Texas, but then you also have this weekend LSU. It's off the top of my head. LSU, Clemson, North Carolina. Who's North Carolina playing? Playing a good team. Who are they playing, Parker?
Let me just pull up the full slate,
TCU,
and I'll tell you.
TCU, right? Is it TCU? I think it's TCU, North Carolina, TCU. Um, and by the way, another like while you're doing that, another storyline that I thought about when we were talking about Michigan, or I brought up Michigan went natty. There is a player on OU's team that wants revenge that really hasn't been talked about very much against Michigan. The last time he played Michigan, his team only scored 7 points and they scored in the 60s. Or was that Georgia? It was Georgia. They beat Michigan, didn't they? TCU beat Michigan. Never mind. I'm dumb. I kept thinking Michigan beat TCU and Michigan did not
Yeah,
beat
no, it was
TCU.
Georgia that throttled
Georgia,
TCU in
Georgia
that
thumped
national
TCU, and
championship
then
game.
that
Yeah.
that is such an unforgettable game. That's why I thought that.
Yeah, so the
Um,
good games on this slate are obviously LSU. LSU Clemson is probably next to Texas Ohio State, the big time headliner.
mhm.
Outside of that, I mean, there are a few decent ones.
Oh, it's
Alabama
good,
Florida
man.
State could be interesting. Syracuse, Tennessee could be interesting, I guess.
You're
Outside of
so
that, I
much
mean, it's
more
a pretty
cynical than me,
typical.
man. This is like those are names. And it's week one. Those are names that when you see them on the schedule, like, oh, that could be pretty good.
Yeah, seems like a pretty typical week one slate to me.
No, it's deeper than that, man. It's deeper than I can't. It's usually you get like one really good game, like one good game. I think last year, what was it? Florida. It was Florida State LSU, right? Or no, that was the week. That was the year before, wasn't it? Or
Florida State,
USC,
LSU.
USC,
Yeah, it
USC
was
LSU,
USC LSU was the big one in week
USC
one
LSU.
last year.
Yeah. But I'm just to me, it's deeper. Maybe I'm crazy. I just think it's a deep, deep week of college football. It feels because you get a couple of like potential playoff team matchups. Like I know Florida State was bad last year, but do we really believe they're going to be that bad 2 years in a row? We don't,
That
right?
bad, no. They won't be that bad. They
Like
still could be
seven,
bad.
they could be like win 7 or 8 games this year, maybe nine, right? It's the ACC. If it's the SEC, I would agree with you, but it's the ACC. Um, what of all the players this week, who are you most looking forward to watching play for the first time? For the first time,
In an Oklahoma uniform,
yes. Outside of John Mateer, that doesn't count. Can't say his name.
Cortland Guillory.
Okay. Yeah. Man Crush Central.
All in.
Yep.
All in on Cortland Guillory. I don't
Yes,
even
you
know
are.
if I would give him the man crush label necessarily, but he's just like I think that dude's going to be insanely good at the University of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have an excellent career.
Hmm. I agree. I'll give you one on each side of the ball. Defensively, I am stoked, excited to see what Marvin Jones Jr. is going to do underneath the Brent Venables defense. Former 5 star. I watched him in high school several occasions. He was a dog at American Heritage Plantation. Like just unbelievable. He had a motor on him then. That was the crazy thing. Like, and I think people look at his time at Florida State and they're like, well, he only had 4 sacks last year. He had 4 sacks on a really bad defense and a bad team. That wasn't fun. Like, I think they all kind of wave the white flag. If you put truth serum in Marvin Jones Jr., I bet he would sit there and say, probably the worst experience of his life. And I'm speaking for him here, but I mean, I truthfully believe that. Um, he was on the verge of being a really good player at Georgia. They had high expectations. He played as a freshman. Like that's how high expectations they had for him. So I'm excited to see him because I think he is going to have a really good year if he can stay healthy. And obviously, Tory Blaylock. I think everything, the first time we saw him was practice number one, and they were doing inside drills. And we both looked at each other, whoa, that dude's got some juice to him. Of course, we were getting kicked out right about that time of practice, but we stopped and watched for as long as we could. And yeah, he was going. That's when we kind of knew like he was going to be pretty good, but we didn't think whenever everybody came back healthy, like it was going to be something that stuck. But he is stuck. And I'm going to say this last night on the phone, talking to a source, I'm going to quote them. Their exact quote was, Drum, we hit on every freaking one of those dudes in 2025. That class is going to be what 2022 is for us this year. They're that good. End quote. And I was like, wait, whoa, that's a strong statement. He goes, dude, they're good. That class is good. Both sides of the ball. They were talking both sides of the ball. Like they love it. And that should make OU fans excited because remember, that class was only what, ranked 18th or whatever? And they only had 18 commits or 16 or whatever. And they had
18
18,
commits, 18 signings.
18.
Yep, that
Yeah.
was
But
it.
they were only rated like 16 or 18, depending on, whatever. but they hit. They evaluated it right. The OU fans should be excited about the future because of that. I think they're going to see it this weekend because they're going a lot of those dudes are going to play, and they're probably going to make really good plays to get the fans excited. Um, I think. What do you think the over under is? The students. How long do they stay on Saturday?
Quarter and a half. It's fine. I'm not
I
going
know.
to get mad if they
It's
leave
Illinois
early.
State, so who cares? Yeah, I know. I'm
I'm
just
not going to get mad if they leave early. It's Illinois
no.
State.
It's Illinois State, of course. I just love making that because I know, like, that's the
There will
first
be an
place you see
old. There
scatter.
will be an old that does try to pick a fight
Oh
with the
yeah,
student section if they leave early.
that's
I'm just
really the
interested to
only
see
ones that
who that
said that.
is.
Now, if it was Michigan, yeah, I get it. Like in conference games, yeah, I get it. Like we get mad about that, but like, come on, Illinois State, nothing to get upset about. Ooh, somebody brought up Elijah Thomas. How many yards do we think he has Saturday?
I'll bet you he catches 3 or 4 passes. Call it 50 yards
Yeah.
receiving.
I want him to score the very first time he plays a game. I think that'd be so cool, just because he's wanted to be a Sooner. Did you watch that thing that they had on Twitter or X, whatever, that they followed him to the first day of class? And I
I
think
did not
this,
watch that. No.
okay, well, you should because the first, I think it's going to endear him to the OU fans. He said, I took like 2 or 3 visits and I was done. I knew I was going to Oklahoma. That is such a rarity nowadays, by the way.
Big time.
Huge rarity. Why I think he'll always be a fan favorite as long as he plays well. Home state kid, and obviously he wanted to be a Sooner, born and bred. Um, does Oklahoma get a? If I set the over under 2.5, and there's 2 big home games before this month ends, right? Michigan and Auburn. And I said at 2.5 commits, would you take the over? And it's not, I'm not talking just 26.
Before the end of the month of September,
Mm-hmm.
over. Over. I think, and obviously the 27 class already got rolling with the addition of Luke Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to get rolling for real here pretty soon. It's just me.
Yeah, and I also think if Oklahoma beats Michigan, I think the Auburn game has a couple of flip targets show up in 26. And if they pull that one off, I'll just say all bets are off. There are I want you all to understand this behind the scenes, and Parker, you can confirm this. It has been very hard for Oklahoma to gain traction with some of these 4 and 5 star guys that they normally have traction with because of all the negative recruiting that's been going on behind the scenes. Oh, Brent Venables is not going to be here. Brent Venables is not going to be this or that or blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter the NIL that Oklahoma throws out there. If they don't believe that the coach is going to be there, they're still not going to go to that school. So there's a waiting game where these kids are solidifying their spot at other places and they're still in contact with Oklahoma. If Oklahoma can pull off the Michigan game, there is a decent chance, and it may not even be by the end of September, by the end of October, if Oklahoma can win 6 of their first 8 games or 5 of their first 8 games, that things can change quite quickly on the recruiting trail. Because, and I'm going to quote another source, Parker, they flat told me that there was maybe 2 guys that they missed out on that they were truly pushing for that they lost out on due to NIL. Everybody else has been circumstances of religion, just family issues, all kinds of stuff that kind of undermined OU's recruiting attack. Just bad luck. But on top of that, you compound 6-7, 10-3, 6-7, and a coach that perceived on the hot seat, right? And that's an easy sell nowadays, by the way. You're going to lose those battles. And that's what's happened. And the fact that Oklahoma is still a top, with a 20, or the 18th, something like that overall right now.
Number
in the
20 in the nation.
20, top 20. So they're top 20 in the nation in recruiting. The fact that they're there with all the negative recruiting, I think should really make Oklahoma fans happy. I You want to expound on that any?
No, I agree. I think Oklahoma being where they're at, yeah, okay, they're barely in the top 20 right now, but it's not a bad place to be going into a season where you're going to have the opportunity to prove a lot more
Yeah.
to the 2026 class than a lot of other programs will.
Mm-hmm.
Because Oklahoma, like, who else would you throw in that same category as OU, honestly, where you have a beloved, highly respected college football brand, a blue blood institution, great facilities, great tradition, great fan base, and you have a coach and a coaching staff that's quite respected as well. But the one thing, and it's a huge thing, the one thing that kind of throws a wrench into the whole machine is the reality that you're coming off 6-7 and no one is terribly sure whether there is long-term stability at Oklahoma. Well, how do you demonstrate that there is going to be long-term stability? Win football games. That's really the last box that hasn't been checked for a lot of other guys, even guys that are committed elsewhere, because not everybody is like a Xavier Okufulueze, right? And maybe that's a bad example because he technically doesn't even have an offer yet. But not everybody is going to wait and wait and wait to commit until they see what OU's on-field product looks
Yeah.
like. Some guys may commit elsewhere and continue to keep an eye on Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I think that is the reality right now for several players that are committed elsewhere in the 2026 cycle. They're keeping an eye on Oklahoma. And in the
Yep.
meantime, the two flip targets that are right there in front of your face, Braden Allen from Tulane, and well, I guess Jacob Curry isn't a flip target anymore because he's decommitted from Northwestern as of this
Yep.
week.
He's got a
But
lot of really good teams after him too.
that he
Wow.
does. The 3-star linebacker from St. Augustine, Florida, is going to be in town for an official visit September 20th for the Auburn game.
Yep.
And, it's interesting. Everybody I talk to on the OU side about Jacob Curry insists, yeah, that kid's coming to OU. Like, really? Like, he hasn't even been on a visit yet. How can you be this sure? He's coming to OU.
Yep.
Okay. So I honestly, it's one of those cases where I'm probably a little bit more cynical than the people that you and I talk to about these things
Yeah.
on the other side of the whole process, but there's a lot of confidence right now in the OU circle that Jacob Curry is going to be a Sooner and he's going to wind up in this class.
So I saw something that Jason won. He's a regular on here. So we always appreciate him. He said, well, USC hasn't, they're in the same situation with Lincoln Riley, but they're like one of the top 5 recruiting classes in the country. I will say they're on the flip side of what Oklahoma is, where they're going to have to hold on to these guys. And Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley is notorious for this. I've been told that they have a lot of money out there promised to these people, and there's like no way they can afford to pay everybody that they're. I mean, I'm bluntly putting it out there, man. I don't care. Like, it's the truth. Like, they are not going to be able to keep everybody. They just won't. They never do. And if they do, I want to know where they're getting the money. I want to know where they're getting the money because they're throwing some crazy numbers at people. Have you heard some of the numbers?
Oh,
I'm not
I've
going to
heard some
say
of
it,
the
but
numbers.
insanity. Insanity. They're not real. They're not real. So when these dudes sit down to go sign and they throw out a different number to them, you think those dudes are going to sign with them? Would you? I mean, over under 4 decommits by National Signing Day with
Over.
USC.
Way over.
There you go.
Way over.
There you go. I rest my case. I rest my case. Anyways, so there's a high contingency of fans on here that are, I seem to trying to find the comment. This is why we do super chats, because now I'm trying to find the comment of where, oh yeah, what number, how many do you think Oklahoma ends up with at the end of this class? Like if you were going to total,
I will
is
say
it 20?
22.
I was going to say
I think they
23.
signed
So,
22.
okay, I was 23. So yeah, we're in the same ballpark. Um, I just, I think there's going to be a few surprises in this class that we don't even know about. Like Parker, like we don't know about, guys. Like that's the crazy part about this class is going to be cool like that. Because I think there's already one in the class that we were surprised took place, right? Tank Carrington.
Yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it?
That's one. I think there'll be probably two more that we're just like, what in the world? Where did this come from? But I like that because that shows that they're doing some things. They're very stealthy, and from what I'm told, Nagy likes it that way. Like he likes to lurk in the dark, and because I think the Jake Knott thing obviously was super stealthy, right?
Mhm.
I mean, he's done that time and time again while he's been in Oklahoma. Um, Final score. You want to do that on the live, or do you want to wait for the pregame?
No, we've traditionally saved that for the pregame podcast, so let's just go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Save it for the
All
pod.
right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Well, shoot. I don't know what else you want to talk about. This is kind of weird because it's first game, but like we're so stoked and ready. We have so much for you all next week that it's just like just get this weekend over with, man. And you watch if OU goes out and just throws a clunker this weekend. That would be awful.
Jimmy Satterfield, by the way, in the chat said Jacob Curry's a 3-star, 200-pound linebacker. Hard to get excited about that. Counterpoint, Jimmy Satterfield. Kip Lewis showed up to the University of Oklahoma and weighed 196 pounds his first fall. So, pardon me if I'm not turned off by the whole weight thing, especially because Curry wouldn't even be the lightest linebacker in Oklahoma's class if he did end up committing to the Sooners.
Very true.
Ja'Cory Smith's not 200 pounds.
But he's got that 4 star next to his name, though.
That he does. And you know what he is? A missile.
Yes, he is. That 4 star always changes the perception of everybody. It's so
Yeah,
weird. It
doesn't it?
is so weird. It's so weird. I challenge people, and Nagy has said this publicly. Don't look at the stars and other people's rankings. Go look and watch the film and judge for yourself. Because there's been a lot. And on cue, Satterfield just said, well, Kip was a 4 star. So we rest our case. It changes when they have the 4 star next to their name. Kip Lewis struggled to put on weight, 4 star or not. They were worried if he was going to be able to put on weight. And finally, he like blew up last year. But he played his first 2 seasons at Oklahoma around 215, like very light in the britches. So, all right. Anyways, I guess that's going to do it for this version of the OU Insider Under the Visor YouTube Live. It is football time in Oklahoma. If you are a college student with a .edu, if you are a active duty military with a military email, obviously, I had like 3 of those today sent my way. If you are a teacher with a teacher's account, like your school account, right? Your email account, email us ouinsider@rivals.com. We will send you a promo code to get OU Insider for the next 3 months at $1 a month. Literally $1 a month. So it's $3 get you 3 months. It's worth it. That'll get you through most of the season. Again, .edu, college student, doesn't matter if you go to Timbuktu University, send us an email, ouinsider@rivals.com. Active duty, doesn't matter what military branch. We love our military. Thank you so much for your service. And teachers, Doesn't matter where you teach, what level you teach, send us from email from your teacher's account, ouinsider@rivals.com. We will send you promo code $1 a month for the next 3 months. Really, really cool deal. Everybody else, the deal is ending this, I think, Saturday night or Sunday, I believe, at the end of the month. This deal is 2-for-1 deal with OU Insider, and On 3 is over. So you get for $1 for the first week if you sign up right now. Go to ouinsider.com, click that right there at the top right, join me. Go over there left. There's a icon that has the Athletic on it. We will give you OU Insider, all of On 3, and the Athletic for a whole year. You'll sign up for OU Insider and On 3 for $11.99 a month, $1 the first week, right? If you don't like it, you can cancel. It's really quick, really easy. One click of the button, you're out. But I mean, you get a 2-for-1 deal, The Athletic as well, which has some of the best reporters there are out there as well. So you get On 3 and The Athletic. 2-for-1 deal. Great, great, great deal. So make sure you hit us up. We'd love to have you all. It's been a busy, busy month, and we continue to hope that we break news and keep you guys up to date what's going on behind the scenes, OU news, recruiting team, all that type of stuff. All right,
One
real
last super
quick.
chat, Brandon.
Yeah,
Chad
go
Smith said,
ahead.
I need to know your GPA and drug test results. Okay,
Well
Brandon, you
done.
first.
My GPA was a 3.4, and I've never failed a drug test, so I don't know.
I've never failed a drug test either.
And your
I
GPA is probably
believe
higher than mine.
I believe I graduated college with a 3.86.
I hate you. Of course you did.
It's
Of
funny.
course
My
you did.
craziest story from my college days is there's only one class that I've ever just like thrown my hands up and given up on, and it was freshman year economics. Econ just didn't make sense to me. It was macroeconomics. I couldn't tell you why.
Macro
Like the
sucks.
concepts just did not add up in my brain. And I struggled so hard with that class. And the final was worth like 30-40% of the grade. I kid you not. Like I bailed on the class completely. I did not show up to class for the final 5 weeks of the semester. And it didn't matter because it was one of those giant lecture hall classes with like 500 kids. I show up to take the final, Brandon. It is the only final of my entire collegiate career that I aced. I have no idea how to this day. I got every single question right on that
God
macroeconomics
was
final.
looking over you, man. My goodness
That's the
gracious.
only explanation because I didn't know a
Oh,
dang thing. I was just filling out answers, taking the
I,
best guesses I could.
so I was taking biology, probably my sophomore year, and this teacher happened to teach my mom, my dad, and my aunts as well, two of my aunts. So he knew me like right then. He was on my case all the time. And I don't remember the quiz about disease, some sort of disease. And I ended up, whatever the question was, put the gout was a disease that you got because I didn't know the answer. Ironically enough, I've had gout like 6 times in my life since then. So that sucked. So like ha ha ha, karma is a you know what. So but yeah, no, I biology, I hated biology, and I hated calculus and trig. Even though I was really good at math, I don't know why I hated it. So anyways, all right, that's gonna do it for this version. I'm sorry. We'll have everything for you. We got the pregame. Our man Travis Davidson, Grill Boy, is going to be joining us every week on our pregame podcast. So make sure you pay attention to that. Make sure you watch our Jesse and Brian on the Oklahoma drill. We have another podcast coming up later on this week, I believe. We've got a ton of stuff coming for you guys on OU Insider as far as coverage. I got my bold predictions coming up tonight on OU Insider VIP. It's a pretty cool piece that I'm doing. So lots of stuff behind enemy lines on all the big games as well. Go over there to OU Insider, support us, please. OU Insider VIP. Thank you all so much. That's going to do it for this version of the OU Insider Under the Visor YouTube Live. For Parker Thune, Spencer Forsythe on board, my name is Brandon Drum. Have a blessed day.